This is the story of the little duck. This is one of my favorite stories that my mom would read to me when we were little. And I actually had pet ducks when I was little. My pet ducks were named Cece and Henry, and we found them in a pond, just like we'll see in this story. Oh, isn't the little duck cute? The Little Duck, it's a story written by Judy Dunn, and the photographs in this story were taken by Phoebe Dunn. One morning in early spring, a little boy was fishing in the pond near his farm. Again and again, he threw out his line and pulled it in. At last, he caught a fish. The boy gathered his things to go home. Suddenly, he saw something nestled in the tall grass at the pond's edge. Oh, there it is. It was an egg, a duck's egg. The little boy carried the egg home with him. He placed the egg in an incubator. It keeps the egg warm, an incubator, so it would keep warm. Every day, the boy turned the egg over as gently as a mother duck. Finally, after 28 days of waiting and watching, the boy heard something peeping and pecking inside the egg. The shell cracked and broke open. Henry, the little duck, was hatched. There he is. Henry did not look at all as the boy thought he should. He's all wet. His feathers were wet and they stuck to his body. His feet were enormous. That's another word for big, very big. The little duck stood up on his big orange feet. He tried a few small steps. Then he stretched his spiny wings and wiggled them as fast as he could to begin to get dry and fluffy. Oh, he's starting to look like a little duckling. Oh, isn't he so cute? Getting hatched is hard work. Henry, he named the duck Henry, right? Henry was tired. He put his head down beside his empty shell and went to sleep. When Henry woke up, his fluffy yellow down was completely dry. They call the bird's fur, they call that down, or his feathers, his baby feathers is called down. Not like down there, but like that's what it's called. Where was I? He was completely dry. His down was completely dry. Now he looked like a duck. After a few days, the boy placed him in a wading pool. It was time for the little duck's first swim. Henry tried hard to paddle, but the more he paddled, the deeper he sank. Ducks cannot float without oil on their feathers. Baby ducks usually get this oil from their mother's feathers when she sits on the nest with them. When she sits in the nest with them. But Henry's mother was an incubator. He would have to wait until his own oil glands began to work before he tried to swim again. There he is. The boy quickly scooped Henry up from the bottom of the pool and wrapped him in a towel. Henry was shivering and sputtering. Oh, he has to be very careful. The boy was afraid he would catch cold, so he set a hairdryer on warm, not hot, only warm, and dried Henry's feathers in no time. Oh, now look at that. Isn't that the cutest? When the little duck was dry again, he found a cozy resting place on the broad back of the family dog. Together they dozed in the sunshine. Through the summer, Henry kept growing. The boy fed him cracked corn and duck mash. I wonder what duck mash is. The more Henry ate, the bigger he grew. One day, as Henry was standing beside a puddle, his reflection showed stiff and white feathers growing over his yellow down. So now his little down fur is going away and his feathers are growing in. And there he is. Suddenly, Henry's voice began to do something new. While he was small, peep, peep was all he said. But now strange noises came out when he opened his beak. Beep, beep, squawk. Peep, squawk. Beep, squawk, quack, quack, quack. Right? Quack, quack. Henry was growing up. Quack, quack. Oh, and there they are. During the summer, Henry followed the boy all around the farm. There they are. Sometimes the boy was busy. Then Henry looked for other friends. One day he waddled down the hill and into the barnyard. He quacked at the hen, but the hen did not care about ducks. Let's see some other friends that he's going to find here. Oh, it's a bunny and a goat. He quacked at the rabbit. The rabbit listened, but did not say anything. When Henry quacked at the goat leaned over and butted him, kind of like hit him in the head, right? Finally, Henry went back home. They were no fun. Oh, he's big enough to swim in the pool now. Summer turned into autumn, and the boy had to go to school. Without anyone to play with, Henry had nothing to do all day. He tried to swim in his blue plastic pool, but the pool had become too small for Henry. Yep. Small pool, big duck. Oh, there's the boy. Came home from school. On weekends, the boy stayed home. Then Henry was happy. He had a playmate. And sometimes on warm winter days, when the boy was away, his grandfather would rock Henry on the porch. There he is. But still, Henry seemed lonely. He needed a special friend. The little duck was almost grown up. And there he is. One bright morning in early spring, this must be a year later, right? Because it was spring when he first found the egg. So one bright morning in early spring, Henry waddled off the porch. He was a handsome, grown-up duck now, with a beautiful curled feather at the tip of his tail. You know how you can tell boy ducks from girl ducks? Girl ducks have a straight end in their tail, and boy ducks have this little curl up at the end of their tail. Henry walked straight down the hill, past the barnyard, and across the meadow. Suddenly, Henry stopped. He opened his beak in a loud quack. Before him was a wide, deep pool of water, much wider and deeper than his blue plastic pool at home. Henry had found the pond. In the middle of the pond, spreading its wings, was the first duck Henry had ever seen. So he sees another duck in the pond. At first, as fast as he could, Henry paddled out to meet the new duck. It looked almost exactly like Henry, but it did not have the special curl at the tip of its tail. See, there's Henry's little curl, but the other duck didn't have a curl. So remember what I said about the ducks that don't have the curl. The duck was a girl. She quacked at Henry. Henry had found his special friend at last. There they go. Soon, Henry and his friend had an egg of their own nestled in the tall grass beside the pond. The